So I would say out of all the tires I've been riding lately, the Specialized Pathfinders have been one of my favorites, mainly because of the versatility of the tire. You can ride it everywhere, and depending on what level of comfort you want, you can go wider or skinnier, and it changes, you know, the ride comfort really quickly. I've ridden 38s, 42s, and 44s in the Specialized Pathfinder. These are the 38s I'm riding right now. I tend to ride the 38s when I have road sections, just because it works really good as a road tire. I would say the one place this tire does not work, which is today's terrain, is on the mud. It does not get any traction on like moist dirt or muddy dirt or anything like that. So if you're gonna do a lot of wet riding, I would definitely go with something that has more knobs and can grab into the mud better. Yeah, when you're riding in the mud like this, I probably should have switched tires, but it just slides. It doesn't really get any traction anywhere. And if you're trying to pedal uphill in the mud at all, it gets no traction. On the sidewalls, on the center bead, it just is not a good mud tire. I find I keep picking this tire because I do a fair amount of road biking on my gravel bike as well as on the gravel. And I find as I ride between both gravel and, you know, regular tarmac, regular road rides, this tire works really great. And it covers both those terrains really well. As a road bike tire, like, you really can't tell the difference. Other than it being a lot softer and a lot more comfortable than a standard road bike tire, it's really similar to a regular road bike tire. And then on the gravel, as long as it's not muddy, it works great as a gravel tire. If you're riding rougher terrain, I would recommend going on the bigger size, maybe up to the 48, just because you can run really low air pressure and it makes for a really smooth ride. And then, you know, if you have to ride on the road at all, you still have that center bead. That makes a huge difference for road riding. I don't think I would necessarily ride the 38 all that often unless you do a lot of road biking. I keep riding this 38 mainly because I'm trying to wear it out and buy a wider one, but at a minimum, I would start with either a 42 or a 44, just because this 38 is a little bit too skinny for rough stuff or for any type of gravel riding. You just get rattled to pieces, whereas when you go up to the 42 or the 44, you can run a lot less air pressure and it makes for a much smoother ride on the rough gravel as opposed to getting rattled to death. As far as tire pressures go on these Specialized Pathfinders, I am not the best guide for tire pressures just because I typically ride a lot harder than I'm supposed to, mainly because I like to save my carbon wheels and make sure I don't do any damage to them. So I'm typically riding 50 to 60 PSI. On days to like today where it's a little bit muddy, I'll drop it down into the 40s, but I won't go much lower than that on any size of the Specialized Pathfinders. I know some people will run 30s or even down to the 20s. That's a bit brave for me. I'm a heavier guy. I'm around 180, so I just won't do it. Even on my mountain bike, I don't run much less than 25 PSI, just because I like to save my rims. If you were getting started in gravel and wasn't sure exactly where you were gonna ride, this would be a great tire to start with. They're also on the more affordable end. I find a lot of the Continentals get really expensive. They do last a while. I ride Continentals on my road bike and they last forever. But at the same time, if you're not sure what you're gonna ride or how often you're gonna ride or what type of terrain, the Specialized Pathfinder is a great bet. It's affordable. It comes in a bunch of different sizes. It works in a bunch of different terrains. And then if you find out, hey, I want something with more knobs and a little bit more aggressive for the dirt, you can always switch it out and keep it for the times you want to go road biking. So In my opinion, you can't really go wrong with this tire. I like it. It works really well in a variety of conditions, and I've ridden it across a bunch of different gravel bikes. I would lean towards the wider side of it though. So start at like a 42, 44, I think would be a good starting point. If you're gonna ride exclusively road, maybe you can get away with a 38, but 38s on the gravel are definitely rough for sure.